Dr. Helen Martinez was drinking her third cup of coffee when the alarm started screaming. The red lights flashed across the control room at NASA's Deep Space Communications Center. She jumped up from her desk and ran to the main computer screen. "What's happening?" she asked her assistant, Ben Foster, who was already typing fast on his keyboard. "Something big just appeared in space," Ben said. His voice was shaking. "Really big. It's right above us." Helen looked at the numbers on her screen. She could not believe what she was seeing. The object was huge. It was bigger than any city on Earth, and it had appeared out of nowhere. "Are you sure this is real?" she asked. "I've checked it 3 times, Ben said. "It's real." And it's not. Moving away. Across the country, Air Force Colonel Jake Thompson was eating breakfast when his phone rang. The voice on the other end was his commander. "Jake, we have a situation. Get to the base now. Bring everyone you can find." Jake dropped his coffee cup and ran to his car. He drove to the airbase as fast as he could. When he got there, he saw fighter jets taking off. The pilots looked scared. "What's going on?" Jake asked his commander. "Look up," the commander said. Jake looked up at the sky. There, floating above the clouds, was something that should not exist. It was a massive ship. It was dark gray and covered in strange lights. It looked like it was made of metal, but not any metal Jake had ever seen. "How big is it?" Jake asked. "Bigger than Manhattan," the commander said. "It just appeared 20 minutes ago. No warning, no signal, nothing." At the White House, President Lisa Rodriguez was in an emergency meeting. Her advisors were all talking at once. Defense Secretary Paul Williams was on the phone with the military. Chief of Staff Karen Miller was trying to call other world leaders. "Everyone stop talking," the president said. "I need to understand what we're dealing with." Dr. Martinez appeared on the video screen. She looked tired and worried. "Madam President," Helen said, "we have confirmed that this is not from Earth. The object is using technology we don't understand. It's staying in our atmosphere without any visible means of support. Is it a threat?" President Rodriguez asked. "We don't know yet," Helen said. "But something this big didn't come here by accident." On the alien ship, Commander Veltar was pleased with himself. He stood on the bridge of his vessel, the Kethvara, and looked down at the small blue planet below. His crew was busy at their stations, but he could see they were nervous. "Commander," his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Klixar, approached him. "The Galactic Council specifically ordered us not to make contact with this world. They said we must wait for proper diplomatic protocols." Veltar laughed. "The Council is full of old fools. Look at this planet. It's primitive. They don't even have proper space travel. We can take what we want and leave before anyone knows. We were here." "But sir," Klixar said, "the regulations exist for good reasons. We don't know enough about this species or their world." "I know enough," Veltar said. "They're weak. They're divided. They'll surrender as soon as they see our power." Veltar walked to the communication station. "Open a channel to the planet," he ordered. Back on Earth, Helen Martinez was still at her computer when strange sounds came from the speakers. It sounded like static at first, then slowly became clearer. "People of Earth," a voice said. The accent was strange, and the words were not quite right. "This is Commander Veltar of the Zephi Empire. Your planet is now under our control. You will surrender immediately and provide us with tribute." Helen looked at Ben, who was recording everything. "Are you getting this?" she asked. "Every word." Ben said. The alien voice continued. "We are a superior species with advanced technology. Resistance is pointless. We will demonstrate our power so you understand your situation." President Rodriguez was watching this on her screen too. She turned to her advisors. Get me the leaders of every major country. We need to coordinate our response." "What kind of response?" Paul Williams asked. "We don't have weapons that can reach something that high up." "We don't know what kind of weapons they have either," the president said. "But we're not surrendering to anyone." Commander Valtar was enjoying himself. He had sent his message to the planet, and now it was time to show these humans what they were dealing with. He ordered his weapons officer to target a large asteroid near Earth. "Fire the plasma cannons," he commanded. The weapons officer pressed the controls. Bright beams of energy shot from the ship toward the asteroid, but something went wrong. The beams curved and twisted in ways they should not. Instead of hitting the asteroid cleanly, they scattered in all directions. "What happened?" Veltar demanded. "I don't know, sir," the weapons officer said. "The targeting system is malfunctioning." "Fix it," Veltar ordered, but the weapons officer was looking at his instruments with confusion. "Sir, it's not the targeting system. Something is interfering with our plasma beams." Sub-Commander Klixar was studying her own instruments. "Commander, we're detecting unusual electromagnetic activity from the planet. It's much stronger than our scans predicted. So what?" Veltar said. "Our technology is superior to anything they have." "Yes, sir, but our technology wasn't designed for this kind of environment," Klixar said. "The electromagnetic fields are disrupting our systems." On Earth, Dr. Martinez was watching the light show in the sky. The alien weapons had created bright flashes and strange colors, but they had not hit their target. "Ben, are you seeing this?" she asked. "Their weapons aren't working properly," Ben said. "Something is interfering with them." "What could do that?" Helen asked. Ben was already running calculations on his computer. "Our magnetic field," he said. "Earth's magnetic field is stronger than normal right now because of solar activity. It might be disrupting their technology." Helen smiled for the first time that day. "So they're not as advanced as they think they are." At the airbase, Colonel Jake Thompson was watching the same light show. His pilots were ready to launch, but they were waiting for orders. "Sir," one of his pilots said over the radio, "there. Weapons don't seem to be working right. Should we attack?" Jake thought about it. The alien ship was huge, but if their weapons were malfunctioning, maybe they weren't as dangerous as they seemed. "Not yet," Jake said. "Let's see what happens next." Back on the alien ship, Commander Veltar was getting angry. His demonstration of power had failed, and his crew was starting to look at him with doubt. "Try again," he ordered the weapons officer. Tried again, but the results were the same. The plasma beams scattered and twisted, creating pretty lights, but no real damage. "Commander," Sub-Commander Klixar said quietly, "perhaps we should contact the Galactic Council. They might have information about this planet that we don't." "Absolutely not," Veltar said. "We're not admitting failure. We'll find another way to make these humans surrender." But privately, Veltar was starting to worry. His ship was much more advanced than anything on Earth, but something was wrong. His instruments were showing readings that didn't make sense. Systems that had worked perfectly for years were starting to malfunction. On Earth, President Rodriguez was talking to world leaders. The leaders of China, Russia, the European Union, and other major powers were all on the video call. "We need to work together," she said. "This is a threat to all of humanity. What can we do?" asked the Chinese premier. "We don't have weapons that can reach them." "We don't need weapons yet," President Rodriguez said. "Their own weapons don't seem to work properly. Maybe we can find other ways to deal with this." Dr. Martinez was listening to the call from NASA. "Madam President," she said, "I think I know why their weapons aren't working. Earth's magnetic field is interfering with their technology. If we can understand how, we might be able to defend ourselves." "Do it," the president said. "Whatever you need, you have it." As the day ended, Both sides were learning that this situation was more complicated than anyone had expected. The aliens had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest, but they were finding that their advanced technology had unexpected weaknesses. The humans had expected to be helpless against superior alien technology, but they were discovering that sometimes being primitive had advantages. Neither side knew it yet, but they were about to learn much more about each other than either had planned. 3 days had passed since the alien ship appeared over Earth. Commander Veltar stood on his bridge, staring at the planet below. His confidence was gone. His ship was trapped. "Report," he demanded from his navigation officer. "Sir, the hyperdrive." "Still won't engage," the officer said. "Every time we try to activate it, the system shuts down automatically." "What about conventional engines?" Veltar asked. "They're working, but barely," the officer replied. "We can move slowly, but we can't escape the planet's gravity well." Sub-Commander Clixar approached with her tablet. "Commander, I've been analyzing the situation. The planet's magnetic field is creating a space-time distortion around our ship. Our hyperdrive safety systems won't allow us to jump while we're caught in this field." "Then we'll blast our way out," Veltar said. "With what?" Clixar asked. "Our weapons are barely functional. Every system on this ship is being affected by the electromagnetic interference." On Earth, Dr. Ben Foster was working with scientists from around the world. They had set up a temporary research center at MIT, where the best minds on the planet were trying to understand alien technology. "Look at this," Ben said to his colleague, Dr. Amy Chun from Beijing. "Their ship is giving off energy readings that don't match any known physics." "It's not just the energy," Amy said. "Watch what happens when I run this simulation." She typed commands into her computer. If their technology is based on quantum field manipulation, Earth's magnetic field would create interference they never expected. Dr. Martinez joined them via video call from NASA. "We're getting more data every hour," she said. "The alien ship is actually getting weaker. Some of their systems are failing completely." "How is that possible?" Ben asked. "Think about it," Helen said. "They come from a different world with different conditions. Their technology evolved to work in their environment, not ours." Meanwhile, on the alien ship, the crew was starting to panic. Engineering Officer Zekanol reported to Sub-Commander Clixar. "Ma'am, we're losing power to non-essential systems," he said. "The energy collectors can't maintain full power in this electromagnetic environment." "What about life support?" Clixar asked. "Still working, but the air recyclers are operating at 60% efficiency," Zekanol said. "If this continues, we'll have problems in a few weeks." Clixar went to find Commander Veltar. She found him in his quarters, staring at reports on his personal screen. "Commander, we need to talk," she said. "About what?" Veltar asked without looking up. "About contacting the Galactic Council. About asking the humans for help." Veltar stood up quickly. "Help? From primitive beings who haven't even reached their own moon in 50 years. Those primitive beings live on a planet that's killing our ship," Clixar said. "Maybe they understand something we don't." "I won't ask for help," Veltar said. "We're the superior species here, are we?" Clixar asked. "Because right now, they're free, and we're trapped." Down on Earth, President Rodriguez was meeting with her advisors. The situation had become the most important thing happening on the planet. "What do we know about their condition?" she asked. Defense Secretary Paul Williams read from his report. "Intelligence suggests their ship is in trouble. Power fluctuations, system failures, and communications problems. They're not as invincible as they pretended to be." "Are they dangerous?" the president asked. "They tried to send down landing parties." "Twice," Williams said. "Both times their equipment failed. Their soldiers couldn't maintain power in their suits. They had to retreat back to their ship. General Amy Carter, who had been coordinating global defense efforts, spoke up. "Madam President, we have an opportunity here. They're vulnerable. If we act carefully, we might be able to establish communication. On our terms." "What kind of communication?" President Rodriguez asked. "Dr. Martinez has been working on this," Carter said. "She thinks she can establish a direct link with their ship." At NASA, Helen Martinez was indeed working on communication. She had been trying to reach the aliens for days, but not to surrender. She wanted to understand what was happening to them. "Ben, try the signal again," she said. Ben activated the communication array. "This is Dr. Helen Martinez from Earth. We know you're having problems with your ship. We want to help." For the first time, they got a response. But it wasn't from Commander Veltar. "This is Sub-Commander Klixahar of the Zephyhi vessel Kethvara," came the reply. "Who are you?" "I'm a scientist," Helen said. "I study space communication. We can see that your ship is in trouble." There was a long pause. Then Klixahar spoke again. "Why would you want to help us?" "We came here to conquer your world." "Because you're trapped and dying," Helen said simply. "And because we're not the kind of people who let others die when we can help." On the alien ship, Klixahar was having a private conversation with several crew members. They were meeting in secret because they knew Commander Veltar would be angry. "The human scientist seems sincere," said Engineering Officer Zekano. "She is," Klixahar agreed. "I've been monitoring their communications. They're not preparing to attack us. They're trying to understand our technology so they can help us." "Commander." "Veltar will never allow it," said Weapons Officer Trenix. "Commander Veltar is going to get us all killed," Klixahar said. "He's more concerned with his pride than our lives." "What do you propose?" Zekano asked. "We keep talking to the humans in secret," Klixahar said. "We learn what we can from them. Maybe together we can find a solution." Back on Earth, Dr. Martinez was making progress. She had established regular communication with Sub-Commander Klixahar, and they were sharing information. "Your ship uses quantum field generators for power," Helen said during one of their talks. "Yes," Klixahar confirmed. "How did you know that?" "We've been studying the energy patterns your ship produces," Helen said. "The problem is that Earth's magnetic field is interfering with your quantum fields. It's like trying to tune a radio in a thunderstorm." "Can it be fixed?" Klixahar asked. "Maybe," Helen said. "But we need to understand your technology better. And you need to understand our planet better." Meanwhile, Commander Veltar was becoming more desperate. His attempts to contact the Zephyhi home world had failed. The communication equipment was too damaged by the electromagnetic interference. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "I'm detecting unauthorized transmissions from Section 7. "What kind of transmissions?" Veltar demanded. "They're talking to the planet," the officer said. Veltar was furious. He stormed through the ship until he found Sub-Commander Klixahar at a communication station. "What are you doing?" he demanded. "I'm trying to save our lives," Klixahar said calmly. "By betraying our mission?" "Our mission failed the moment we ignored protocol and came here unprepared," Klixahar said. "Now we're trapped, and our only chance is to work with the humans." "I forbid it," Veltar said. "Then you condemn us all to death," Klixahar replied. The argument was interrupted by an alarm. The ship's main power core was fluctuating dangerously. "What's happening?" Veltar demanded. Engineering Officer Zekano ran up to them. "Sir, the power core is destabilizing. The electromagnetic interference is affecting the containment fields." "How long do we have?" Klixahar asked. "Maybe a week before we lose main power," Zekano said. "After that, life support will fail." Commander Veltar looked around at his crew. For the first time, he saw fear in their eyes. And for the first time, he began to realize that his pride might kill them all. On Earth, governments were working together like never before. The alien threat had united humanity in ways that decades of diplomacy had failed to achieve. "We're sharing all our research," President Rodriguez announced during a video conference with world leaders. "Every country, every scientist, every resource we have is focused on this problem. Are we really going to help them?" asked the British. "Prime Minister, we're going to try," President Rodriguez said. "Not because we trust them, but because it's the right thing to do. And because we might learn something that helps us protect ourselves in the future." Dr. Martinez was working around the clock. She had teams of scientists analyzing every piece of data they could gather about the alien ship. "I think I understand the problem," she told Ben Foster. "Their technology is incredibly advanced, but it's also incredibly specialized. It only works under very specific conditions." "Like what?" Ben asked. "Low electromagnetic interference, specific atmospheric pressure, certain radiation levels," Helen said. "Earth is nothing like their home world. Coming here was like bringing a deep-sea fish to the surface." "So they're dying just by being here?" "Their technology is," Helen said. "And without their technology, they can't survive in space." That night, Sub-Commander Klixar made a decision. She contacted Dr. Martinez privately. "Dr. Martinez," she said, "I need to tell you something. Commander Veltar is planning to try one more attack on your planet. He thinks if he can force you to surrender, you'll give him the resources he needs to repair our ship." "When?" Helen asked. "Tomorrow," Klixar said. "I'm telling you this because I don't want anyone to die. Not your people, and not mine. What do you want us to do?" Helen asked. "Be ready," Klixar said, "and trust me. I'm going to try to stop him." As both sides prepared for what might be their final confrontation, neither realized that they were about to learn the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from admitting why. The morning came with bad news. Commander Veltar was preparing for his final attack on Earth. He had gathered his remaining loyal crew members on the bridge of the failing ship. "Today, we show these humans what happens when they refuse to surrender," he announced. "We'll use every weapon we have left." Sub-Commander Klixar stood at her station, watching her commander with growing concern. She had spent the night talking secretly with Dr. Martinez, and she knew this attack would be a disaster. "Sir," she said carefully, "our weapons are operating at less than 30% efficiency. Perhaps we should consider other options." "The only option is victory," Veltar said. "Target their largest cities. If we can't conquer them, we'll make them fear us." But Klixar had already made her choice. While Veltar was giving orders, she was sending a coded message to Earth. On Earth, Dr. Helen Martinez received the warning just in time. She immediately called President Rodriguez. "Madam President, they're about to attack," Helen said. "But the alien who's been helping us says their weapons are almost dead. This might be our chance." "Our chance for what?" President Rodriguez asked. "To show them that we're not their enemies," Helen said. "I have an idea." At the same time, Dr. Ben Foster was working with his international team on something that might change everything. They had been studying pieces of alien technology that had fallen from the ship over the past week. "Look at this," Ben said to Dr. Amy Chun. "Their technology isn't just failing because of our electromagnetic field. It's actually changing." "What do you mean?" Amy asked. "The materials they use are adapting to our environment," Ben said. "But they're adapting badly. It's like their technology is trying to fix itself, but it doesn't know how." Amy looked at the data on her screen. "What if we helped it adapt properly?" "You mean modify their technology?" Ben asked. "Why not?" Amy said. "They understand the advanced science, but we understand Earth. Together, we might be able to make their technology work here." Meanwhile, Colonel Jake Thompson was coordinating the defense of Earth. Fighter jets from dozens of countries were ready to launch, but he was hoping they wouldn't be needed. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're getting strange readings from the alien ship. It looks like they're powering up weapons, but the energy patterns are very unstable." "Are they dangerous?" Jake asked. "Hard to say," the officer replied. "Their weapon systems are so damaged that they might explode before they can fire." On the alien ship, that's exactly what was happening. Weapons Officer Trenix was desperately trying to make the plasma cannons work. "Sir, I can't maintain target lock," he reported to Commander Veltar. "The targeting computers keep shutting down." "Then fire without targeting," Veltar ordered. "Just shoot at the planet." "Sir, that could cause a feedback explosion," Trenix warned. "We could destroy our own ship." "Do it anyway," Veltar said, but Sub-Commander Klixar had heard enough. "No," she said firmly. Everyone on the bridge turned to look at her. She walked up to Commander Veltar and stood directly in front of him. "I'm relieving you of command," she said. "You're not thinking clearly, and you're going to get us all killed." "You can't do that," Veltar said. "Actually, I can," Klixar said. Regulation 47 of the Sci-Fi Military Code. When a commanding officer's judgment is compromised and crew safety is at risk, a second-in-command may assume temporary command. Several crew members stepped forward to support Klixar. They were tired of Veltar's pride, putting them in danger. "Stand down, Commander," Engineering Officer Zikanol said. "Sub-Commander Klixar is right." Veltar looked around at his crew. He saw that he had lost their support. Angry and humiliated, he walked off the bridge. "Cancel the attack," Klixar ordered, "and get me a communication line to Earth." Dr. Martinez was waiting for the call. When it came, she was ready. "This is Sub-Commander Klixar," the alien said. "I'm now in command of this vessel. I want to talk." "I'm listening," Helen said. "Our ship is dying," Klixar said. "Our weapons are failing, our power is dropping, and our life support systems are breaking down. We need help, and I'm willing to ask for it." "What kind of help?" Helen asked. "We need to understand why our technology doesn't work in your environment," Klixar said. "And we need to find a way to fix it." "We might be able to help with that," Helen said. "We've been studying your technology. We think we understand the problem." "What is it?" Klixar asked. "Your technology is too advanced for Earth," Helen said. "It's designed for a perfect environment with no interference. But Earth is messy and chaotic. Your systems can't handle the randomness. Can it be fixed?" Klixar asked. "Maybe," Helen said, "but we'll need to work together. You'll need to trust us, and we'll need to trust you." Klixar thought about this. "What do you propose?" "Let us send a team to your ship," Helen said. "Our engineers can work with yours to modify your systems. In exchange, you share your knowledge with us." "That's a big risk," Klixar said. "So is dying alone in space," Helen replied. While this conversation was happening, Dr. Ben Foster was already preparing. He had assembled a team of the best engineers and scientists from around the world. "We're really going to do this," he said to his team. "We're going to board an alien spaceship and try to fix their technology. Are we sure we can trust them?" Asked Lisa Park, a brilliant engineer from South Korea. "We're sure we can't trust all of them," Ben said. "But we can trust the one who's in charge now. She's been helping us for days. What if this is a trap?" Asked Tony Clark, a computer specialist from Canada. "Then we'll deal with it," Ben said. "But if we don't try, they'll die. And if they die, we'll never learn what we need to know to protect ourselves from other aliens who might come here." President Rodriguez was having the same conversation with her advisors. The decision to help the aliens was not easy. "Madam President," said Defense Secretary Paul Williams, "this could be the most important decision in human history. If we help them, We're showing other alien species that humans can be allies, not just enemies. And if we don't help them? President Rodriguez asked. Then we're showing that humans only care about themselves, Williams said. Plus, we lose the chance to learn about their technology and the galaxy beyond Earth. Chief of Staff Karen Miller had been quiet during the meeting. Now she spoke up. There's something else to consider. If we can fix their technology, we might be able to use it to defend Earth better. You mean we steal their technology? President Rodriguez asked. I mean we learn from it, Karen said. They came here to conquer us. The least they can do is help us protect ourselves from the next aliens who might try the same thing. The decision was made. President Rodriguez authorized the mission. Dr. Martinez, you have permission to send a team to the alien ship, she said. But I want constant communication. And I want our best military advisors monitoring everything. Understood, Madam President, Helen said the next day. A small spacecraft launched from Earth. It was a modified space shuttle carrying Dr. Ben Foster, engineer Lisa Park, computer specialist Tony Clark, and 3 other scientists. They also carried Colonel Jake Thompson and 2 military advisors. As they approached the alien ship, they could see how badly it was damaged. Parts of the hull were dark where power had failed. Strange lights flickered irregularly across the surface. It's bigger than I thought, Lisa Park said, looking out the window. It's more damaged than I thought, Ben Foster replied. I'm surprised it's still in one piece. They docked with the alien ship at an airlock that Sub-Commander Klixar had prepared for them. When the door opened, they saw their first real alien. Klixar was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. She wore a uniform that looked like it was made of metal fabric. She looked tired and worried. Welcome to the Kethvara, she said in careful English. I am Sub-Commander Klixar. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us, Ben said. We're here to help. I hope you can, Klixar said. Follow me. I'll show you what we're dealing with. As they walked through the ship, the humans were amazed by what they saw. The technology was incredibly advanced, but it was also clearly failing. Lights flickered, strange sounds came from the walls, and the air smelled metallic. How long do you have? Colonel Thompson asked. Maybe a week before life support fails completely, Klixar said. Less if we have more system failures. They reached the engineering section, where several alien crew members were working desperately to keep systems running. Engineering Officer Zekanol looked up when they entered. Are these the humans? He asked. Yes, Klixar said. They're here to help us fix our technology. Zekanol looked skeptical. No offense, but how can a species that barely has space travel help us with quantum field generators? Ben Foster stepped forward. Because we understand something you don't, he said. We understand Earth. Lisa Park was already looking at the alien computers. Your systems are fighting against Earth's environment instead of working with it, she said. It's like trying to swim upstream instead of with the current. What do you mean? Zekanol asked. Tony Clark pointed to one of the displays. Look at this. Your computer is trying to filter out all electromagnetic interference. But Earth's magnetic field is so strong that the filter is using most of your power. So instead of fighting the interference, we should use it, Lisa said. Work with Earth's magnetic field instead of against I. The work was harder than anyone had expected. Dr. Ben Foster stood in the alien engineering room, covered in sweat and strange blue fluid that leaked from their machines. He had been working for 12 hours straight with Engineering Officer Zekanol. Try it now, Ben said, pointing to a modified control panel. Zekanol pressed several buttons. The machine hummed to life, but then started making a grinding noise and shut down again. It's not working, Zekanol said. The power converter keeps overloading. That's because you're still thinking like it's a HFY machine. said Lisa Park, who was working on another system nearby. You need to think like it's an Earth machine that happens to use alien technology. I don't understand, Zekanal said. Lisa pointed to the wiring diagram on her tablet. Look, your technology tries to create perfect conditions inside the machine. But Earth's electromagnetic field keeps changing, so the machine uses all its power trying to maintain perfection. So what do? Zekanal asked. We make it flexible, Ben said. Instead of fighting the changes, we make the machine adapt to them. Tony Clark looked up from his computer. It's like the difference between a rigid tree and a flexible one. In a storm, the rigid tree breaks, but the flexible one bends and survives. This was a new way of thinking for the aliens. Their technology had always been about control and precision. The idea of building flexibility into their machines was strange to them. Meanwhile, Sub-Commander Klixar was having her own challenges. Former Commander Veltar was causing problems among the crew. He had been telling anyone who would listen that working with humans was a mistake. They're primitives, Veltar said to a group of crew members. They'll sabotage our ship and leave. U.S. stranded. They're trying to help us, Klixar said. Without them, we'll die. Better to die with honor than live as slaves to an inferior species, Veltar replied. But most of the crew disagreed with him. They had seen the humans working, day and night, to save their lives. They had seen Colonel Thompson sharing his food with hungry alien crew members. They had seen Dr. Martinez staying awake for days to solve their problems. The humans are not our enemies, said Weapons Officer Trenix. They're our partners. Partners? Veltar laughed. They're insects compared to us. These insects are the only reason we're still alive, Trenix replied. The argument was interrupted by an emergency alarm. The ship's main computer announced, solar flare detected. High-energy particles incoming. All crew to emergency stations. Everyone ran to the bridge. On the main screen, they could see a massive wave of energy coming from the sun. It was heading straight for Earth and the alien ship. How bad is it? Klixar asked her science officer. Very bad, the officer replied. The energy levels are 10 times stronger than anything we've experienced since arriving here. Colonel Thompson was on the bridge with the aliens. He contacted Earth immediately. NASA, this is Thompson. We have a solar flare incoming. What's the situation down there? Dr. Martinez's voice came through the communicator. Jake, it's going to hit Earth's satellites and power grids hard. But the alien ship is going to get the worst of it. They're not protected by our atmosphere. What can we do? Thompson asked. I don't know, Helen said. Their shields are already failing. This might destroy their ship completely. Sub-Commander Klixar looked at her instruments with growing panic. Our deflector shields are operating at 15%. We can't survive a direct hit from that solar flare. Ben Foster, who had been listening from the engineering room, suddenly had an idea. Wait, he said over the communicator. What if we don't try to stop the solar flare? What if we use it? Use it how? Klixar asked. Earth's magnetic field channels solar energy, Ben said. That's how we get the northern lights. What if we could channel this solar flare through your ship systems instead of letting it hit them? Deaconol looked at Ben like he was crazy. Channel a solar flare? That's impossible. Not impossible, Lisa Park said. Just very dangerous. We'd have to modify your shields to act like a conductor instead of a barrier. That could destroy us instantly, Zekanol said. We're going to be destroyed anyway, Klixar pointed out. At least this way we have a chance. Tony Clark was already working on his computer. I'm running simulations now, he said. If we can modify the shield generators to work with Earth's magnetic field instead of against it, we might be able to redirect the solar energy. Redirect it where? Thompson asked. Into the ship's power systems, Ben said. Instead of destroying. U.S., the solar flare could recharge our batteries. The aliens stared at him. This was completely against everything they had been taught about technology and safety. It's madness, said the science officer. It's human thinking, said Lisa Park. We're used to using dangerous things to help us. Fire can burn down your house, but it can also keep you warm. Klixar made the decision. Do it, she said. We have nothing to lose. The next hour was the most intense of anyone's life. Humans and aliens worked together, completely rebuilding the ship's shield system. They had to rewire power conduits, reprogram computers, and modify hardware with tools that were never meant to work together. 10 minutes until the solar flare hits, announced the science officer. Are we ready? Klixar asked. As ready as we can be, Ben said. But I have to warn you, we've never tried anything like this before. We could all die. We could all die if we don't try, Klixar replied. Everyone on the ship held their breath as the solar flare approached. On Earth, Dr. Martinez was watching on her instruments. Here it comes, she announced to President Rodriguez, who was in the situation room with her advisors. The solar flare hit the ship like a tsunami of energy. For a moment, all the lights went out. The artificial gravity failed, and everyone floated in darkness. The ship shook violently. Then, slowly, the lights came back on, but they were brighter than before. The gravity returned, stronger and more stable. All around the ship, systems that had been failing for days suddenly came back to life. Report, Klixar called out. Power levels are at 90%, Zekanol said, staring at his instruments in amazement. Life support is fully operational. The hyperdrive is showing green status for the first time since we arrived. How is that possible? Asked the science officer. Ben Foster was grinning. We turned your ship into a giant solar panel. Instead of fighting Earth's electromagnetic field, we used it to capture and store the solar energy. The shields are holding perfectly, reported the weapons officer. Better than they ever did before. On Earth, Dr. Martinez was getting reports from around the world. The solar flare caused some power outages, but nothing major, she told President Rodriguez. And the alien ship not only survived, it seems to be fully powered now. So they could leave if they wanted to? The president asked. Yes, Helen said. But I don't think they want to. She was right. On the alien ship, Sub-Commander Klixar was talking to her crew. We could leave now, she said. Our ship is fully operational. We could go home and report what happened here. What would we report? Asked Zekanol. That we ignored protocol, got trapped, and had to be saved by the species we came to conquer, Klixar said. That's not the whole story, said Weapons Officer Trenix. We also learned something important. We learned that working together makes you stronger than either species could be alone. The humans didn't just save our lives, added the science officer. They improved our technology. The ship is working better now than it did when we left home. Former Commander Veltar, who had been quiet during the crisis, finally spoke up. I was wrong, he said. I let my pride cloud my judgment. These humans are not inferior. They're different. And that difference saved us all. Colonel Thompson was talking to Earth from the alien bridge. President Rodriguez, I recommend we continue working with the aliens. They have technology we need to understand, and we have knowledge they need to survive. What are you proposing? The president asked. A partnership, Thompson said. Not conquest, not surrender, but cooperation. Dr. Martinez was already thinking about the possibilities. Madam President, with their technology and our understanding of Earth, we could defend our planet against any future threats. And we could learn about the galaxy beyond our solar system. President Rodriguez looked at her advisors. What does everyone think? Defense Secretary Paul Williams spoke first. From a military standpoint, it makes sense. We need allies, not enemies. Chief of Staff Karen Miller nodded. From a diplomatic standpoint, this could be the beginning of Earth's relationship with the galaxy. Then it's decided, President Rodriguez said. Dr. Martinez, Colonel Thompson, work with the aliens to establish formal contact procedures. We're going to do this right. On the alien ship, Sub-Commander Klixar was making a similar decision. I'm sending a message to the Galactic Council, she announced. I'm going to tell them what really happened here and recommend that Earth be considered. For membership. What about the protocols we violated? Asked Zikanol. We'll face the consequences, Klixar said. But we'll also show them that sometimes breaking the rules leads to something better than following them. As the day ended, both species realized that the solar flare had done more than restore power to the alien ship. It had shown them that cooperation was more powerful than conflict, and that differences in thinking could be strengths rather than weakness. 2 weeks after the solar flare, everything changed again. Dr. Helen Martinez was working in her new office aboard the alien ship when her instruments detected something approaching Earth. Sub-Commander Klixar, she called over the ship's communication system. We have 3 large objects coming out of hyperspace. Klixar arrived at Helen's station within minutes. She looked at the readings, and her face went pale. Those are Galactic Council ships, she said quietly. They're here because of us. Is that bad? Helen asked. I don't know, Klixar said honestly. It depends on what they've decided to do about our situation. The largest of the 3 ships was massive, even bigger than the Kathvara. It positioned itself between Earth and the alien ship. The other 2 ships took flanking positions. A communication signal came from the lead ship. This is Ambassador Trillon of the Galactic Council Peacekeeping Fleet. We are here to investigate unauthorized contact with the planet Earth. All vessels will maintain current positions. President Rodriguez was in the White House situation room when she received the call from Dr. Martinez. Madam President, we have visitors, Helen said. The alien government has arrived. Are they hostile? President Rodriguez asked. We don't know yet, Helen said, but they're definitely in charge. Their ships make the original alien ship look small. Defense Secretary Paul Williams was already on the phone with military commanders. Around the world, all forces remain at ready status, but do not take any aggressive action unless directly attacked. General Amy Carter was coordinating with Colonel Thompson, who is still aboard the alien ship. Jake, what's the mood up there? Tense, Thompson replied. The aliens are scared. They think they're going to be punished for coming here without permission. What about the humans on the ship? Carter asked. We're staying, Thompson said. If our new friends are in trouble, we're not abandoning them. Ambassador Trillon was a member of the Velmoth species, known throughout the galaxy for their fairness and wisdom. They were tall and graceful, with silver skin and 4 arms. Trillon had been sent to Earth expecting to find a disaster that would require severe punishment for the HFY. Instead, the situation confused them. Report, Trillon ordered their science officer as they studied the data about Earth and the alien ship. Ambassador, the readings are unusual, the science officer said. The HFY ship is not only functional, it's operating at higher efficiency than when it left their home world. How is that possible? Trillon asked. Unknown, the science officer replied. There are also several human life forms aboard the HFY vessel, and the energy signatures suggest extensive technological collaboration. Collaboration? Trillon was surprised. The report said the HFY came here to conquer this planet. That appears to be what they intended, the science officer said. But that's not what happened. Trillon decided to see for themselves. They sent a message to both the alien ship and Earth. I am Ambassador Trillon of the Galactic Council. I request permission to meet with representatives of both species to understand this situation. President Rodriguez responded immediately. Ambassador Trillon, you are welcome to visit Earth. We would be honored to meet with you. Sub-Commander Klixar also responded, though she sounded nervous. Ambassador, I am Sub-Commander Klixar, currently commanding the Kethvara. You are welcome aboard our ship. I will visit both locations, Trillon announced. I must understand what has happened here before making any decisions. The first meeting took place on Earth, in a specially prepared room at the United Nations building in New York. President Rodriguez led the human delegation, which included Dr. Martinez, General Carter, and several other world leaders. Ambassador. Trillon arrived with 2 advisors and a small security detail. The Velmoth were impressive beings, moving with fluid grace and speaking in musical voices. President Rodriguez, Trillon said, I must ask you directly, were you forced to cooperate? With the HFY? No, President Rodriguez said firmly. We chose to help them because they were in trouble, and because we believed cooperation was better than conflict. Even though they came here to conquer your world? Trillon asked. Especially because of that, Dr. Martinez said. We had the chance to show that there was a better way. Trillon's advisor, a being called Coordinator Neshin, spoke up. The Galactic Council has strict protocols for first contact precisely to prevent situations like this. The HFY violated every regulation, and because they did, we all learned. Something valuable, President Rodriguez said. We learned that species can work together even under the worst circumstances. What did you gain from this cooperation? Trillon asked. General Carter answered. We gained knowledge about the galaxy, about technology we never dreamed of, and about our place in the universe. But most importantly, we gained friends. Friends? Trillon seemed surprised by the word. Yes, President Rodriguez said. The HFY who are on their ship now are not the same ones who arrived 2 weeks ago, and neither are we. The second meeting took place aboard the Kethvara. Trillon was amazed by what they found there. Humans and aliens were working side by side, not as conquerors and conquered, but as partners. Show me what you have accomplished, Trillon said to Sub-Commander Klixar. Klixar led them through the ship. In the engineering section, they saw Ben Foster and Zekanol working together on a new type of power converter that used Earth's magnetic field to generate energy. In the computer center, Tony Clark and the alien science officer were developing hybrid software that combined human creativity with alien precision. In the medical bay, human doctors were learning about alien biology, while alien medics studied human medicine. This is unprecedented, Coordinator Neshin said quietly to Trillon. Indeed it is, Trillon replied. Former Commander Veltar approached them. He looked different from the proud, arrogant leader who had first arrived at Earth. Now he seemed humble and thoughtful. Ambassador, he said, I request permission to speak. Granted, Trillon said. I violated the protocols, Veltar said. I ignored the wisdom of the Council and brought my ship here without permission. I endangered my crew and threatened an innocent species. Yes, you did, Trillon agreed. But because of my mistakes, we discovered something wonderful, Veltar continued. We discovered that the protocols, while wise, are not the only way to create understanding between species. Explain, Trillon said. The protocols assume that first contact must be slow and careful, Veltar said. But sometimes crisis forces cooperation that might take years to develop otherwise. Sub-Commander Klixar joined the conversation. Ambassador, we came here as enemies and became friends. Our technology improved because we learned to work with Earth's environment instead of fighting it. Our understanding grew because we had to trust each other to survive. Dr. Martinez, who had been quiet during the tour, finally spoke. "Ambassador." "Trillin, may I ask you something?" "Yes," Trillin said. "How many species in the Galactic Council are truly allies, and how many are just following the rules to avoid conflict?" Trillin considered the question carefully. "An interesting point," they said. "Many of our member species coexist peacefully, but few have the deep cooperation I see here. That's because they never had to depend on each other for survival." Colonel Thompson said, "Crisis creates bonds that diplomacy sometimes can't." Trillin spent 3 days studying the situation. They interviewed humans and aliens separately and together. They examined the technology that had been developed through cooperation. They reviewed the records of everything that had happened since the Kethvara arrived. Finally, they called a meeting with all the leaders from both species. "I have made my decision," Trillin announced. "Commander Veltar, you will face disciplinary action for violating protocols. However, given the unprecedented positive outcome of your actions, the punishment will be minimal." Veltar nodded. "I accept whatever punishment the Council decides." "Sub-Commander Klixar," Trillin continued, "you will be promoted to full Commander for your wise leadership during this crisis." Klixar looked surprised. "Thank you, Ambassador." "But more importantly," Trillin said, "this situation has shown the Galactic Council that our protocols, while generally effective, are not perfect. The cooperation between humans and HFY has created innovations that neither species could have achieved alone." President Rodriguez leaned forward. "What does that mean for Earth?" "It means," Trillin said, "that the Galactic Council is inviting Earth to become an associate member. You will have access to galactic technology, trade, and knowledge. In return, you will share your unique perspective and problem-solving abilities." With other species, the room was silent for a moment. Then Dr. Martinez asked, "What about the HFY crew? What happens to them?" "That," Trillin said, "is up to them. They may return home, or they may choose to remain here as the first official ambassadors between Earth and the Galactic Council." Commander Klixar stood up. "Ambassador, I request permission to establish a permanent embassy on Earth. I believe our species have much more to learn from each other." "Permission granted," Trillin said. Over the following months, the old NASA Deep Space Communications Center was transformed into Earth's first interstellar embassy. Dr. Martinez became Earth's first ambassador to the galaxy, working alongside Commander K.